As a freelancer and a person who likes to help other people, and as someone who's a people pleaser, it really makes me uncomfortable when people are upset with me. So what I did is I built this scenario that watches my email and gives a sentiment analysis to the emails I'm receiving. That way I can see if someone is unhappy or very unhappy. I can see that in the labels of my emails, and I can click on those and I can try to resolve the issue as quickly and as smoothly as possible. In this video, I'm going to show you how to build that kind of automation using a platform called Make.com. My name is Andy O'Neill, and I help entrepreneurs like you add automation to their business. All right, so let's jump over here in my email inbox, and you can see over here on the right side, we've got some tags for my emails. And I have 5 tags in total. Right over here on the left, you can see strong positive, positive, neutral, negative, and strong negative. So how I do this is a simple scenario in Make.com that watches my emails. It uses ChatGPT to do the sentiment analysis of the email content and then updates the email with the appropriate label. We're going to build this email automation from scratch, but if you need any help with this scenario or any other Make scenarios, visit Weblytica.com to get one-on-one help from a Make expert. I'm just going to build this above my existing scenario. Don't let that confuse you. So we're going to go right here and we're going to search for Gmail. And we're going to click here and we're going to get the watch emails trigger. You know, this is the only trigger that we can use for Gmail. So you're just going to click that right there. And your scenarios always start with a trigger. Next, I'm going to choose my folder, which is going to be my inbox. And then I'm going to do a Gmail filter and I'm going to do category primary. And what this means, if you think about your Gmail inbox, you've got those tabs at the top. Primary is the one where most of the time, real people emailing you, that's where their email lands. Then you have the updates, which are newsletters and forums across the top there. I just want to, in an effort to reduce operation usage with Make and to not label newsletters, I don't want to mess with any of those. I just want the primary email tab. Next, I want to say no to mark emails as read. And the maximum number of emails, I'm going to do 50 and hit OK. So now it's going to ask us where we want to start. And I'm going to go down here and I'm going to select the first email. So this will give me a list. I'm just going to choose one that's a few down here just so we can run this. All right, so we have data. So we retrieved 4 bundles or 4 emails from our inbox that matched that search. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a ChatGPT and I'm going to choose create a compilation. And so this is going to be a prompt that I send to ChatGPT. I'm going to give it the text of the email and it's going to decide if it's one of those 5 sentiment labels. So right here, I'm just going to use 4.0 mini. This is a simple task and it's cheaper that way. And I'm going to jump down here and I'm going to copy my prompt. I'll add a message. The role is going to be user. I'm going to paste my prompt. I'll come back to that in a second. Right down here, max tokens, we're going to put 0. And when you put 0, it means use as many as you need. So here are my instructions, and the text I want to analyze is the text version of my email. So right over here, I want the text content. And on the output, I gave it some explicit instructions to only output the sentiment options that I provided up here, which are strong positive, positive, neutral, negative, or strong negative. All right, we're going to hit OK, and let's run this because I like to test as we go along. So I'm going to have to right-click and say choose where to start. Select the first email. A few here. Let's run this. All right, so we have neutral, positive, and strong positive. Okay, that's working because we want only that text to come out of there because we want to be able to switch that to a label value in our email. So next we're going to modify email labels. Modify email labels. And I got to get the right account there. Make sure your accounts match in the first and last module. So I'm going to do the Gmail message ID, and it's right down here. Gmail message ID. I'm going to map that. And then I have to use a switch to tell me what the values are of the different labels. So I'm going to check the labels here. And I'm going to flip this to map. I'm going to use a switch function that says when I have this value, change it to this value. So here are my labels in order. So I'm going to do a switch. You can just type switch and open parenthesis. And then I need to put the value. Here's the result from our ChatGPT. And then I'm going to put a semicolon. And so this first one is going to be strong positive semicolon. And then I'm going to go here. I'm going to make sure you get rid of the commas. And I'm going to put another semicolon. I'm going to do positive. So what I'm building here is a switch. So we're taking the result. We're saying whatever this value is, if the value is strong positive, switch that value to this label ID. And these label IDs will have to come from your account. Yours will be different than mine. And if it's positive, switch it to this label ID. If it's neutral, switch it to this ID. And if it is negative, switch it to this label ID. Strong negative, switch it to this label ID. And then we're going to close that. So this may look daunting, but it's really fairly straightforward. Switch. Here's the value we want to switch. It's the dynamic value from ChatGPT. If it's strong positive, do this label. If it's positive, add this label. Neutral, add this label. Negative, this label. And strong negative, this label. So whatever the value is that comes in, it's going to switch it to the ID of our label so that it gets added to our email. Now, we're not going to use this down here. This is labels to remove. We want labels to add. And we're going to click OK. All right, so now our scenario is built up here, and let's run this. Let's see if I have any in the queue here. All right, let's run that. All right, so we got an error that says request entity not found, and this is probably because I have a mismatch from my messages here. So I've got to make sure, like I just said earlier, got to make sure that connection is the same on the front and back. So I'm going to do my .org here and my .org here. Okay. All right, let's run this now. So we processed 4 emails. Let's look at this first one. It came through as negative. And so if we look at our update here, you can see labels to add is this label here, which should be our negative. This is the 6390. Just take a peek in our switch here. Negative is 6390. So that was correct. And if we go back to that message, it's right here. So that is negative. And you can see it's got 2 labels here, because one came through as neutral and one came through as negative. So there's more than one reply here. So that's why there's 2 labels there on this email. For the sake of being clean here, I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to organize this and save this. This scenario is running and ready to go, except for one thing, and I want you to look at your scheduling. By default, Make is going to run these every 15 minutes, which might be overkill for your email account, and that'll use a lot of operations. So what I've done is I've said run it every 60 minutes from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and I've said only run it Monday through Friday, which are the days I typically work. So that way, it's not going to run overnight. I don't need this running overnight, processing emails overnight while I'm sleeping. That will reduce the amount of operations that this will use, because in reality, this scenario is going to use a lot. It's just checking. It's going to be checking for new emails. So you don't want to do that every 15 minutes, most likely in your use case. If you want to learn more about how to use Make to manage Gmail labels, check out this video. And I thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.